Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena. We haven't quite clawed our way back into Mythic yet. It's very early in the month, but I figured we'd get some recording done this evening, so we're just going to jump into some Explorer ranked. We're ranked in the Platinum at the moment, and we're going to be playing some Izzet Phoenix. Something that I realized I didn't do in some of the previous videos is give you a link to the deck list that I'm using. I'm going to go over it at the end of the video this time, and I will try to get a link up there before this video goes live. Yeah, this is a pretty reasonable hand. And we are up against, what is this? I am not sure. What I am sure about is that we should Flameless Bolt that Elsiad. Because whatever they're doing, that's not good for us. So we've seen, okay, so a Selesnya, probably a Coco deck of some description. Okay, Selesnya Enchantress. I can't say that I've seen this in a while, but it's not an archetype that is unknown. That said, there's a lot of flexibility in what they could be running here, so we are going to be a little bit in the dark for this matchup. Looks like they're looking at something to get rid of my Ledger Shredder, or okay, or whether to continue with their regular line. Shigeki and a Fang. This is an interesting one. I think what we're going to do is try and deal with this Shigeki, because we don't want them to ramp. That's pretty much the only reason that card would be in here. I'm not really concerned about like the Destiny Spinner or the Fang. Honestly, like they could have fight spells with the Fang, but that's not something that is going to be particularly devastating. We'll kill the Fang at least, hopefully. Eidolon of Obstruction. Is this just like an Enchantress aggro deck? Very interesting. I'm going to get two Phoenixes back and pitch that. Maybe we should have kept that one and shocked that instead. Opt. Pitch chart. Bottom that. Fading Hope, the most dangerous thing here, which is this Eidolon. Opt on top, that's fine. Get back two Phoenixes and swing for 10. Yeah, okay, Jukai Naturalist, yeah. I think this might just be an unfortunate mismatch. Yeah, let's just not BM them, just hit them. Yeah, this just looks like an unfortunate mismatch. They may have some sideboard tech, so we should watch out for Rest in Peace, because that's an obvious sort of include. Considering Rest in Peace, I'm going to board out of the graveyard in our traditional plan for not dealing with that. Bring in some more Bone Crushers, because those looked okay against their stuff. Some more Brazen Borrowers. We don't have anything really to deal with enchantments. We could bring in Aether Gust to deal with red and green stuff. They only have green, but a lot of their stuff is green. Like I said, we're going to be a little bit in the dark here, so we're just going to sort of try and pick out what we think is best in this situation. I think an Abrade is fine. Now, we could just keep in Phoenix and say maybe they don't have Graveyard Hate, but I'm pretty sure that they do. Like I said, Rest in Peace is a pretty obvious include in a sideboard for that deck. Yeah, this is okay. It's not ideal. No Ledger Shredder, no extraordinary early game, right? We don't have the turn 1 shock, but that's okay. If it's just a Fang of Shigeki, I don't really mind. Jukai Naturalist. That is going back to their hand. Yes, I'll take a Storming Entity. That's actually pretty good here. Run out the Spiral of Canal because that's untapped. And then pass to them. They should just run out the Naturalist again. Land, Naturalist. We'll wait till the end step. Make sure they just do whatever they're going to do. Weaver. Stomp the Naturalist. It looks like they're just an aggressive deck. Just like an aggressive... So, question here, do we want to Lightning Axe, pitching and consider, and then play Storming Entity, or consider and play Storming Entity? I think Weaver is probably one of the best cards in their deck, so we're going to do this, pitching consider, or Sulphur Falls. I'm going to pitch the Sulphur Falls. Just because we have all this ability to dig in our hand and drop in the Storming Entity. I'm going to put the Spike Field to the bottom and Flameless Bolt on top. Flameless Bolt will hopefully deal with whatever they play on this turn, and then... Yeah, I'm not blocking. Selesnya Champion. Okay, so that's not going to deal with whatever they play on this turn. So we're going to just fire off Consider. Dig for something. That'll do. Yeah, so Selesnya Champion, a very good card in Enchantress deck. That will resolve, and that's going to shift our play, actually, because we can't... Catilda. Why is that a 2-2? Number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. So, oh, okay, this will be 3/3, and then, so we could Flame Blast Bolt here on this Alseid, and then stomp the Catilda on our turn. Actually, we should have done that the other way around, but whatever. Oh, okay. Well, we get the opportunity to anyway, so we're going to fire off Consider. Bin the Opt. Flame Blast Bolt the Catilda. Hit them for 5. Destiny Spinner, yeah. I mean, Setessan Champion is just a really good card. Yeah. This Ledger Shredder. We can hit them for 6 and hope we don't die. Or we can hit them for 4 and hope we don't die. The reason I say hope we don't die is because both of these Setessan Champions can grow. This Destiny Spinner could fire up a land. Well, it would be a 1/1 right now, but... Or 2/2, sorry. But both these Setessan Champions going, they have some fairly cheap stuff. If we just fire this at face and swing with the Stormwing, they get to crack back with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at a minimum. We block 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's very dangerous. It does take them to 1, though. This is very greedy, and we may die. And we're priced into blocking their Setessan Champion with our Ledger Shredder. Their big Setessan Champion. So if they draw a removal enchantment, then we just die. But they're looking at the Destiny Spinner, so it looks like they are just going to fire up a land for... as a 2/2. They're not quite there, unless they have an enchantment in hand. Skyclave, okay. They're still not there. Right, because that's... yeah. We go to 2. Good game, sir. Alright. I mean, it's an interesting concept. You could see we were just picking it apart, and we weren't really keyed for it. Like, our sideboard had nothing for that deck. We brought in some cards, because some of the cards in our main deck are just potentially hazardous, because of what I anticipated their natural sideboard plan would be, but apparently they didn't go for it, so it's this one. I'm just going to pull this up real quick so you can all take a look at it. This is the version of Izzet Phoenix that I'm running. Yeah, we have sort of just classic Phoenix stuff. And it's really funny that this deck is still called Izzet Phoenix Arclight Phoenix, even though Arclight Phoenix is like, it's here, but like Ledger Shredder is really the thing that's doing the most damage most of the time. Brazen Borrowers are doing damage, Bone Crushers are doing damage, and like these top end, like Stormwings, are also doing a lot of the damage. Crackling Drakes will win you games. Like, they will win you games because they are just, they usually wind up being pretty big in this deck where you're just dumping a bunch of garbage into your bin and off of the Considers and just casting Opts and Flameless Bolts, Ledger Shredders, Lightning Axe. But yeah, and then Ox is very nice to just grind with if you ever get into a grindy matchup now, but you really usually don't. You usually get blown out. Or, you know, blow someone out. Yeah. So that's the deck. Sideboard, you know, you see all this during sideboarding, but Soul Guide Lanterns, Aether Gust, Braids, Mystical Disputes, Disdainful Stroke, Negate, Brazen Borrower, Narset, and Bone Crushers. Basically a transformational sideboard plan here. We transition from a Phoenix deck, cut all the graveyard cards, the Finale, the Arclights, and the Ox, bring in Disputes against blue decks, but bring in sort of a control package, whatever control package happens to fit the particular the matchup we're facing best, right? And we have Brazen Borrowers and Bone Crushers to fill out if we don't have, like, other good cards for the matchup. Yeah, and that's the deck, and that's all for today. There actually might be a bonus episode coming out today, but